In the last video, we looked at absolute and relative path names, and we looked at, we opened nano, and we concatenated the files to see the contents, but we didn't really do a ton of other commands or using other tools with them. So in this video, I plan to show you some additional commands that we've actually looked at before, such as copy, remove, move, basically some file commands that we've used before, but show you how we can use those with absolute and relative path names. So I'm going to type in my tree command here. We're going to be working in this same folder. Let me go ahead and go to, let's see, midterm. We'll go to the theory folder here. And notice that, yep, that chap.txt file exists. Now, if you remember the way to make a copy of a file, I'm going to do cp, type in the file that I want, and then I also have to type in what I want to name that. So I will type in chap2.txt. Hit enter, and then I will go ahead and clear this out, run the tree command again, and you can see, sure enough, it did create that file right there for me. Now I will go ahead and I'll go back to my home directory here and show that you can actually copy files with relative path names or absolute path names. So I'll start with an absolute path. I will go ahead and do home directory, midterm, let's see, theory, and here I forgot to put CP at the front of this. So CP, and then I will do my chap.txt file again, and then I will put in what I want to rename it. So I'll do midterm, theory, chap3.txt. So you can see this first part here, the command. I'm doing an absolute file path to my midterm. So midterm, theory, chap.txt file, and then I'm going to make a copy of it to my midterm, theory, chap3.txt. So I'll hit enter. I will go ahead and clear and do this again, and you can see, sure enough, it did make that file right there for me. So that's an example of copying a file and using an absolute file path. Now, you do not have to have the file path basically be the same for the first and second part. I will type in cp, midterm, theory, chap.txt. Now let's go ahead and put it into the flow folder right there. So I will do midterm flow. Let's see, midterm lab flow, and then name it. I don't know. We'll just name it exactly the same thing. So there we go. I will clear that. And you can see, sure enough, it did create a copy there, all from me not even moving out of my home directory. It was able to do all of that while I stayed in my home directory, just using absolute file path names to reference the files in different directories. All right, we looked at absolute. Now let's look at using the copy command with some relative path names. So I will go ahead and go to my midterm folder here, and let's do copy, and we will do the hello .java file this time. So we'll go lab unix hello.java, because we can see that's exactly where that file is for us. Now, what's interesting with referencing relative path names here, if you ever want to, let's say I want to put this into the flow folder. So what I would actually do is I'm going to do dot / because the dot is going to reference where I am essentially. So I could do that, and then I'll type in lab and flow, and I will also name it hello.java. So you can see before I hit enter here, you can see the dot is basically referencing, where am I? That's going to be where I'm starting my relative path, and I'm in my midterm folder. So midterm, and then I'm going to lab, then flow, then hello.java. I'll hit enter, clear this out, and do my tree command again, and you can see, sure enough, it did put it right there for me. Now, let's say I am even deeper in this midterm folder. Let's go all the way into the Unix. And you can see that is sure enough where I am. Now let's say I want to copy the hello.java file all the way into the lab folder. So I'm going to do cp hello.java. Now I'm going to // and what that does for me is it brings me back out like one folder. So that means that I'm going to be in my, let's see, out one folder from Unix is going to be, I'm in my lab folder. It's kind of hard to see when I highlight that there, but that takes me out one folder to my lab. And I can prove this actually by, if I'm in the lab, I should be able to type in Unix or flow and hit tab and it should autocomplete for me. So if I do that, it works. So that proves that's where I am. Now if I want to go back even one more because I want to put it somewhere else, let's say I'll do // and that takes me back even one more folder. Now I'm in my midterm folder. So I can prove that by typing in lab, and sure enough, that is auto-populating there for me. So if you ever want to go back just one folder, you would do // and then you can put in wherever you want to go from there. I think I said I was going to put this in my lab section here, so this would be fine. I could also just simply go back one like that and do this, run that, clear tree, and yep, sure enough, there it is in the lab folder for me. Now, if I wanted to, I'll show you like one more shorthand thing that you can do. And this time I'll actually move a file just to show you that the relative and absolute path names work with whatever command you're using. It doesn't have to be copy. I'll actually move a file, and I'll do mv because that's for move, and then I'll use an absolute path here, going midterm lab. Let's say I want to get rid of my hello.java file that's right here. So I'll do hello.java, and I will do, let's see, I'll put it, I don't know, in my theory folder, I guess. And to do that, I'll do midterm theory. Now, before we saw that, like referencing, if you want to do a relative path and just put something in the same folder or reference that folder, you could do that dot and literally just put the dot there, and it kind of references, you know, where you are right now. Well, I can also do the dot here, and it'll copy exactly the file name as it exists. I don't actually have to type in a new file name. You can think of this as like doing the right click on Windows and just copying something there. It'll copy the with the exact same name. It's just a shorthand way of doing that. So if I run that and I will clear, do my tree command, you'll notice hello.java is now removed from my lab and just moved exactly into that theory folder. So just another way you can do that dot, and that'll work for you. You don't have to type out the name every single time. So hopefully a lot of that makes sense. Hopefully, yeah, a lot of it makes sense, and you are getting familiar with some file commands that you can do in a Unix system. Hopefully they'll come in to be useful for you eventually. Some of these commands are even usable on Windows now, because Windows has the subsystem for Linux that you can run in a Windows terminal as well. So yeah, hopefully it's helpful, and good luck on this module's quizzes and assignment.